Hi, my name's Rebecca Wald, and I'm a psychologist in Baltimore, Maryland. I have been making a series of videos for people who are dealing with quarantine and isolation, but today's video is for the people who are not quarantined or isolated. This video is for essential workers of all kinds: doctors and nurses, paramedics, police officers, factory workers producing masks or ventilators, grocery store clerks, and shipping workers, truck drivers, anybody whose current occupation is putting you potentially in harm's way as you continue to navigate the world in order to care for the sick and protect the well. Thank you for what you're doing. I know that there are ways for all of you where it can be really hard. Some of you might find yourself feeling stressed and worried about your own safety at work, and then coming home exhausted and having to reassure your family and calm their fears about whether you're safe and whether you're okay. If you're a medical provider, you may be struggling with questions about the care that you're able to provide under these circumstances. The decisions that may need to be made if the medical system is overwhelmed. It can be demoralizing to feel that you're not able to provide your usual standard of care at this time when people need it most. If you're not in a medical field, you may feel disregarded or unnoticed, thinking that people don't recognize that you are putting your safety on the line by working the cash register at a Walmart in order to make sure that they can still have the food and supplies that they need. So you may feel unrecognized for your sacrifice. All of you who are essential workers may be feeling separated right now, distanced or alienated from your friends who are not essential workers, because the majority of the country sometimes seems like they're all sharing a very specific experience, and that's not your experience. That can make you feel like you can't reach out to your friends because they won't understand. You can feel irritated by their trivial complaints, or you can feel hurt when they make jokes about what we all are experiencing at a time when you're putting in 12-hour shifts in the outside world and you're not watching Netflix at all. That can make you feel different in a way that makes you feel left out. So for all of these reasons that your situation is difficult, I just want to say that I see you and I recognize that this is hard. And this is hard. Even if it's what you signed up for, even if it's your mission in life, this is still something that takes its toll on you. And that needs to be recognized. Now, I am aware that a lot of the problems that you are currently facing are problems that call for system-wide solutions, big changes in how we do things and how we organize things. And that's not what I'm going to prescribe today. I'm going to be talking about individual things that you can do to care for yourself and to get support, even though I know that the big social changes are what we really need. Those aren't things that you in your current situation can institute. I want to focus right now on what you can do to get yourself through this difficult time. Okay. First of all, drop anything that is not essential, even if it technically seems like you have time. So, for example, don't work a 12-hour shift at the hospital and then come home and try to clean your kitchen. Don't spend all night stocking boxes at the grocery store so that people will have their canned goods and their toilet paper in the morning. And then also expect that you ought to be able to stay up during the day and take care of your kids. The additional stress that you're taking on right now takes a real toll. And so you need to be able to drop the things that are not crucial so that you can allow yourself extra time to rest and take care of yourself. That might mean letting your kids sit in front of the TV a lot more than you normally would so that you can get some sleep after your shift. It might mean that your kitchen stays dirty or that your teenager has to step up and do some things that you wouldn't normally expect him to do. It might mean that some of the things that people are used to having you do for them, you won't do for them. That's okay. Right now, you have an essential task to perform, and apart from that, you should be focusing on self-care as much as possible. So there's a thing that can happen in some industries. I know there's some work cultures in medicine where this is particularly prevalent, where all of the stuff I've said about this taking a toll and the stress wearing away at you is not the way people talk. There are some cultures in which it's really prized to be stoic about this stuff and like, well, I'm just here to take care of people. I'm just going to do the job. My feelings don't matter. Any stress that I'm experiencing doesn't matter because this is something that we do and we push through and we accomplish it. So in that kind of culture, it can be difficult to reach out to your peers for support. It can be difficult to acknowledge that you need breaks or that something needs to be changed to lessen the pressure. But that is so important. And I want you to know that everybody in that stoic culture that you're in, if this applies to your situation, everybody feels the strain and everybody has the stress decrease their performance ability and decrease their ability to care for themselves and cope. If you bring it up, you may be the only one bringing it up, but you won't be the only one feeling it. It's important where you can to reach out to your peers for support, knowing that they get it, that they've been in the exact same situation, that you're not going to have to explain it. And sometimes that's worth being the one person to say, wow, I don't know how you guys are handling it, but this is tough. If you're in a situation where you don't feel like you can be open with your peers about what you're feeling and experiencing, your organization probably has an EAP, an employee assistance program. You could check with HR about that. In medical and police and emergency organizations, there's often a chaplain who can talk with you in a confidential way about your feelings. So make sure that you are getting support because this is not something you can do alone. It's going to be really important to carve out opportunities to take care of yourself. A lot of you probably feel a powerful drive right now to do more. That I could work just a little more. I could see one more patient. I could take on a double shift. I could do a little bit extra. I could work through lunch because the need is so great. But you need to know that this pandemic is not a sprint, it's a marathon. This response is going to be requiring a lot from you for a long time. This isn't something you can push through in one leap, even if it feels like the need is so great that that's what you have to do. Think about it. If you were trying to drive from New York to LA and you were in a really big hurry because you had to get there as soon as possible, what if you said, well, because I don't want to have any unnecessary breaks, I am not going to stop for gas in between New York and LA? So you wouldn't get very far. You'd run out of gas and your car would break down, and there you'd be on the side of the road, stranded and not continuing to hurtle towards LA. In the same way, if you do not take breaks, if you do not stop for meals, if you do not get sleep, you are going to burn out and be that broken down car on the side of the road, no use to anybody. It's vitally important that you care for yourself to the greatest extent that you can. On that note, I want to give a caution now about positive and negative ways of taking care of yourself. So I have another video that I recommend that you watch that focuses on supporting your mental health. The one thing that I want to mention specifically here is that commonly when you're in a high stress job, coming home from work and relaxing with a few drinks is considered a good way to deal with stress, or maybe like the only acceptable way that your team deals with stress is by drinking together. And you need to watch your alcohol consumption right now, because that is another thing that will wear away at your ability to run this marathon. Look instead for things that you can do that are going to be soothing or calming to yourself. Try to develop a transition routine or a transition ritual for the end of your work shift, which might involve changing your clothes into something that feels really comfortable and soothing. Maybe relaxing in a bath, maybe listening to peaceful music. Try to avoid coming out of work and immediately trying to get caught up on the news. Look for things that you can do that make that transition from work to home happen in a more calming way and in a way that gives you a more clear separation between work where things are stressful and home where you're going to be relaxing and trying to take care of yourself. If you're a parent and there's another adult in the home, it is time for that adult to step up and take on more of the parent work than they normally do. If you have responsibilities like looking after an older family member and there are other people in your family, it's time for them to step up. You are giving what you can. You're giving a tremendous amount through your work, and that needs to be recognized and made allowances for. It's time to call in the cavalry. Let your friends know what you need. Let your friends know that you're stressed out. Let them know that you need supportive comments or cat pictures or somebody to listen to you talk about how scary it is. The people in your life who love you want to support you right now. They may not know how, they may not know what's needed. And it's really okay for you to say that directly. please feel free to reach out to me, drop me a comment on my YouTube video, or send me an email at minds.in.focus@gmail.com. If there's anything that you'd like me to address or any kind of support that you feel like you want me to let people know that people like you need. Take care of yourself. I know that you're taking care of all of us. Thank you for what you do. Be well.